sports show. And it's called The Fans View. It's right here on KZI 88.7 FM, broadcasting live from Austin, Texas. That's the capital. I'm going to sell y'all's geographical knowledge because I know we got some people all over America streaming. Corey, I see him. We own the Midwest. I'm going to just tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just a bunch of arrows down the Midwest. And we got some people up in the Northeast.
Well, that's your hood, though.
Yeah. And up there in Seattle, you know, I used to live in Washington State for a minute, too, as a kid.
Of course you did.
So that's I knew you were going to. And then we got some Europe. We got some Europeans.
Yeah.
And I'm a little curious on who this is. Corey, who would you say is tuning in Europe? Where at? I already know it, so I can't answer.
Scotland.
It's Deutschland. It's Germany.
Wow.
Yeah. But I've never seen anyone in Scotland. Ireland, we've gotten a lot. But hey, Scottish homies, I want y'all to pipe in, all right? Did you get that with the bagpipes? Yeah. Okay,
I'm proud of you.
I tried, brother.
It's a good Friday if you over here already tossing out dad jokes. We're not even 2 minutes into the show yet,
brother. I'm at the point. My wife says you don't get any more. but Corey, what about mom jokes? What about people that tell you can't do something, but then they can't stop and they do it themselves? Because I get a lot of mom jokes from her.
What are mom jokes?
Okay, oh man, now you put me on the spot. I'm trying to think because she just did one yesterday and I had to call. I pulled her on the carpet, but it's just little easy things.
Okay,
you know, just layups like dad jokes. So I might say, hey honey. Later on, let's make sure that we get the Chinese food ready. And then she'll say something like, yep, but that's all that's going to be ready because you're going to get the Great Wall tonight. You know, just something like that. And I just made that one up.
That's pretty solid.
That was on top of the head. Dome. But it's just easy stuff like that. And when she said it, man, I had to get to her. But yeah, that's how my Christmas went. It was merry until she said, no more jokes. No more jokes. Let's spend enough time with you.
Are y'all an eggnog family?
We are.
Okay.
We are. And
my family's not.
We got it in. Oh.
I'm very disappointed in my family.
Well, see, I'm wondering if is that regional? My dad, both my parents are from New York.
Okay. And
so I get a lot of my influence from that. And I'm going to say that's perhaps why that happened for me. But I don't know if it's regional. But eggnog.
I don't think so, though. I really don't. Okay. I feel like it's just preference.
Okay. Yeah.
Which maybe I'm wrong. But I just know that, like, growing up, we didn't drink eggnog. But as I got older, I wanted to give it a little taste.
Oh.
And so I went off on my own path. And I won Christmas celebration.
Yeah.
I bought my own carton. Pulled up to the crib.
Yeah.
Drank it with a little whiskey.
I love it.
It's a nice little day. You know
I love it.
It's a nice little day.
You know, I like to make things from scratch, and you're just reminding me that lately, these last couple years, I've been wanting to make mine, and I haven't. So I need to go ahead and get my own recipe of eggnog.
I didn't wait. Time out. What's in eggnog?
I've never looked it up.
Okay.
I've never looked it up.
I thought you were about to give me a whole TikTok recipe.
I need to. And okay. It's going to happen. You just talked me into it. There's a lot of things that I do. So I never buy cranberry sauce out the can anymore. I've been making my own for the last decade.
Well, that's a solid choice.
Okay. All right. And I get a lot of compliments. I'm glad that it was well received from family and friends. I'm trying to think, what else I make my own Alfredo sauce.
Oh, same.
Yeah,
I got a nice little recipe.
No cans over here. So I got to do those kind of things. But I want to ask you one other little thing here. I know from your social media, you went home, surprised all your family. I hope everyone goes and follows Corey. He's a great follow on social media. But Corey, when you go home, big bad TV guy. For those who don't know, Corey Moses from K-View. Corey, do you defer? Is there deference when you get home and you don't get the remote control? Big Papa Mose gets the remote control and y'all watch what he wants to watch. You may not get your sports fixes. What's that dynamic like? I'm very curious.
I not only don't get to have the remote, I don't even get to have like the topic of conversation. Like
we talking sports.
It really does. Like, well, I mean, like, I just can't get a word in conversation. Like I really do turn into like a little brother.
Yeah.
You know, because I have 3 older sisters, and with my parents, and then my sister's married, so my older sister, so got a brother-in-law, and I kind of defer in conversations, and I just take a step back and don't really say much in conversation unless they ask me a question about a certain topic.
It is funny that those dynamics still hold true. If you ever seen the Jacksons out, a lot of times Michael Jackson, not that he was always the most extrovert in his interviews, but he did a lot of times defer to his bigger brothers who were a little more extroverted. Travis, I'm going to say when you go home, because I know you told us how you and your dad, how many years you guys have gone up to the Oklahoma Texas game.
Mm-hmm.
And so your dad's a big sports fan. Travis, I know you went home Thanksgiving. I think you went back to Dallas area.
I did.
Okay, so same question. When you go home, who gets the remote control? Papa Kent?
No, usually I take it.
Whoa, are you the oldest?
I am.
Okay, that's part of it.
But also my a lot of times when I'm there, so my dad's got a office at the house.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people do, right?
Yeah.
And so he's got a TV in there, and he seems like he's always in there doing something, tinkering with something or whatever. And so, like if I'm in the living room talking with my mom doesn't care what's on TV.
Oh, okay.
Like, she just, I think usually when I'm there, they these new I don't know, I just call them like alternate TV stations, like MeTV and stuff like that. They play a lot of older reruns, like shows from the 50s and 60s and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
My mom watches a lot of that stuff.
So she's watching the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and so
she and I can hang out.
Yeah, and so but when I get there, I just grab the remote and flip it to whatever whatever sport's on. But yeah.
Did you like? Sounds like your mom might have watched this when you were growing up. Leave It to Beaver, the Cleavers.
Oh sure.
You like
sure.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go a couple other. The Munsters. Remember that family? Okay. So you got into some of that black and white stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe your parents were still on.
I did. Yeah. And I mean there were a number of shows on a station out of Dallas that would carry. That would show old reruns. Father Knows Best.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
The Nelson. Was it just called the Nelsons? Ricky Nelson, the sitcom based around his family.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there were all of that stuff was in rerun. Back then, and I watched a bunch of it.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. Hey, don't forget. You guys can call in 512-836-2887. If you want to tell us what you were looking at, we'll be looking at. If you're happy about being on this break and all these bowl games, we got a bunch on tap today. We'd love to talk to you guys, find out what you're most excited about. Gentlemen, there's so much to catch up on. Was there something stuck in your craw, something that you just knew you couldn't wait to get to?
No, so one thing I want to talk about briefly, because we're probably getting to the meat of the show, and this will probably just go by the wayside.
Yeah.
But saw reports last night, and I don't know if it's finalized yet, but Deshaun Jackson to Delaware State.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Of all the former players, did Deshaun Jackson's name as a head coach ever cross your mind?
No.
I mean, who has left the ball outside of the end zone most in their career? It started with a high school all-star game.
It's a teachable moment.
He's been having teachable moments all his career.
Teach all his boys how to do it. Don't do what I did.
Well,
it came out of nowhere though.
What I wonder is when you say that, and it's Delaware State. I'm going to show some of our listeners geographical knowledge. Delaware, very close to Philadelphia, where he cut his teeth, and he spent a lot of time.
That's a good point.
It is an HBCU, and a lot of these HBCUs now are starting to see that star power.
This is the trend, right? Eddie George, the HBCU head coach. Heck, my guess is Teddy Bridgewater will be one day. He just led his old high school alma mater to a state championship, and now he signed a contract with the Lions.
Weird.
But yeah,
like when is he gonna make a comeback? Who knew he was gonna make a comeback?
Exactly.
I saw a notification. I said, for what?
Yeah, no.
You just won state. Go coach in college.
There was a lot of coverage of him. Maybe he was spinning that ball a little bit in practice to some of those receivers, and everyone realized, oh, Teddy, you still got it.
But also, like, all the injuries the Lions got, it's not at the quarterback position.
Oh yeah, that's what got me was did somebody get hurt in practice that we don't know about?
Well, what I thought about is why didn't the Miami Dolphins, and I wish Jamal could chime in on this, why didn't the Dolphins get him? He was right down the block.
That's true. That's definitely true.
Instead of that ugly ball we were looking at, they could have called me. They would have some better ball than what they were getting that day. Sheesh. I threw my body around.
Yeah, but you're totally right, Travis. Like, that came out of nowhere, the Deshaun Jackson news.
Yeah.
But you make
I read it wrong at first.
No, same. But you make a good point, though, Douglas. Like, Delaware, close to Philly.
Regionally.
You know, and he's I know he's big time out there in Philly.
Yeah.
So, regionally, they're probably like, oh, this is a splash hire.
He might have been donating a bunch of stuff. You know, everyone doesn't live their life on Front Street, although we're talking about Deshaun Jackson. I don't remember a lot of off-the-field problems, for the record. But, you know, maybe he's done a lot with that school.
Yeah.
So now we've got Michael Vick at Norfolk State. Go Spartans.
Yeah.
I think we're all Sparty fans. Again, that's Virginia. For those who don't know, Norfolk State. That area is called the Seven Cities. So those you here are local. The equivalent of where Norfolk State is to where he grew up is from here to Cedar Park. So this is home for him.
Yeah.
And he is not complaining. And we got a lot of talent out of there. I'm just going to drop a couple more names. Timberland, Pharrell Williams, Missy Elliott, and Allen Iverson, just to name a few of the talent in that little small area. So he's going to have the star power. So you think Colorado had a bunch of people on the sidelines. Yeah. It's going to be crazy for Norfolk State.
Yeah. It's and from, I will tell you, it's surprise is not the right word. Maybe surprise is close, but for the most part, these experiments have gone pretty well for the HBCUs as well. I think Doug Williams maybe was a little bit different when he tried to take over the Grambling program.
Yes.
He wasn't as successful, but then again, that was also an entrenched program. Unlike some of these others who are just like, we're trying to make a grab somewhere. We're trying to get into the conversation.
Yes.
And so Dion helps us get there, and Eddie George helps us get there. But
yes.
Grambling was a little bit different situation. But for the most part, I think these experiments have gone really well. And on the flip side, if we then see some of these former players turn this into either more power conference head coaching jobs or even NFL head coaching jobs, isn't that one of the things we're looking for in coaching hires, is more diversity?
Yes.
And a bigger pool of experienced head coaches helps that for sure.
I appreciate that you said that, Travis. Sometimes this gets offensive to some people. It gets political. It gets racial.
Right.
But Florida State I'm sure they did not want to go with Prime because of maybe some old fogies, maybe some biases, maybe about his style, and that's not Florida State. And I guarantee you, Mike Norvell, no one is happy about what he's done, and they would love some of that shine that Colorado has right now. Yeah. And so maybe some of these biases, is the best way I can say it, could be lifted, to your point, and allow, because we don't know how good of coaches these guys are, but I can tell you this, I bet if Warren Sapp was teaching me how to play the line, my 5'6" self would try to be the best lineman there ever was.
Yeah, no, for sure though. And I was just going to say, Dion did open the door for advancement.
Yes.
For all these coaches.
That's right.
And so I just looked up Virginia Tech's record this year, and they're 6-6. So,
like you said that, they could have taken them.
I'm saying if Vic does well in 2 years, who knows if he goes back to his alma mater and takes a job at Virginia Tech.
Oh, well, okay. We got a call. I just want to say, I'm going to insult y'all's geographical knowledge. Corey, ain't nobody going out to Virginia Tech sidelines. That's out in the mountains, brother. I told you how cool and sexy it was in the 7 cities. He going to have to do some hardcore recruiting of celebrities to get them to come out.
So, Mike Vick, though.
Shout out to the Hokies. Yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere. There's actually good snowboarding and skiing out in the western part of Virginia, heading to the border of West Virginia, but that's about all you're going to get out there at Virginia Tech. Do you guys want to?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Uh-oh. Sorry you missed him. We were just trying to finish the thought. You called early. We were willing to take you, but please call back. Yeah. Hey, Travis, one other little thing about that. Who would be one of the guys you would not want to hire as a head coach? Would you hire at Travis Kent University Lawrence Taylor to be your head coach?
Lawrence Taylor. Wow.
I'll give you a better one. What about Michael Irvin?
Oh, that is better.
Yeah. I know he has his, booger sugar problem.
Yeah,
but that hits close to home.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Barking on the sideline.
Yeah, I think.
He's thinking long and hard about it.
Yeah, I know.
I think I probably would.
Okay.
Whoa!
Okay.
I mean, Irvin. Irvin's a little bit different because he's had some, recent dust ups as well. At the Super Bowl a couple years ago, that lawsuit kind of went away, but he lost his gig on the NFL Network. Yeah. Of course, he is doing some ESPN work or whatever. But Lawrence, like a name like Lawrence Taylor or whatever, for the most part, his troubles were a long time ago. I haven't heard that he's had any further issues. He also kind of stays out of the limelight nowadays.
Yeah.
One of the things about hires like that is you need some recency in the name, or you need them to be in the public eye more for it to have an impact. I think like even Eddie George, he was doing some TV work, which helped him out. Obviously, Deion was doing a lot of TV work. He was front and center in a lot of different places. Deshaun Jackson, I think his name is still known from his playing days. And so even a 16, 17, 18-year-old, it doesn't take them long to find out who Deshaun Jackson was, even if they didn't see him play.
Hey, that's who Xavier Worthy said that he copied his game after. Yeah. When he got drafted, people were saying, like, who do you want to model yourself? And he said Deshaun Jackson.
Was Deshaun Jackson ahead of his time? It feels like he would fit in with the Justin Jeffersons, the Jamar Chases now.
Crazy.
Yeah.
He would be playing with the grill in, with the big chain, the big diamond crusted chain. He was just born a little too soon.
And you're talking about just like, we got a caller though. Yeah, you go to the caller.
Okay, you are live on the air.
Hey, caller, you there?
Thanks for waiting. You're live on the air. You're live on the air.
Caller.
Okay. We'll give him another chance.
Third time's a charm. But yeah, I was just going to say, dang, totally lost my thought.
Yeah. Oh, we were just saying he's of the new age?
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
You were talking about with like jewelry and stuff.
Yeah.
And, his persona.
Yeah.
I was saying more so like play style. With so much speed and space and, grief. Just get the ball into guys' hands and let them use their speed after the catch type of offenses.
Yeah.
He would have went crazy. Yeah. And he's like, think about him on the Chiefs offense right now.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been dangerous for a lot of defenses, but, you're in a certain era for a reason.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I want to know if there's going to be I'm just going to say it.
Okay.
University of Georgia. They're on their backup quarterback. And I don't hear anyone talking about it.
Go Dogs.
Are we worried about the University of Georgia with their ESPN touts him as the plain rapper guy because he's still driving a single cab truck to work? It's old school. It's older than him.
Yeah.
He's still driving that around campus. He was the number I can't remember where he was ranked. He was highly ranked, obviously. He still ended up as the backup at University of Georgia.
You're the hometown kid.
Yeah. Are you guys worried about University of Georgia with Gunnar Stockton?
I was worried about him with Carson Beck.
Yeah, fact. Y'all know how I feel about Carson Beck. He's on the same level as Will Howard to me.
Yes.
But man,
I just
what's that coming down the track?
Ooh, really?
It's a mean machine in red and black.
The only thing I'll say is the team seemed to rally and around him. I felt some energy towards him, his play style, how he's just selflessly throwing his body around, and maybe he rallied the troops. We'll still need to see what that arm looks like. He had a couple throws there. He went for like 76 yards. I think he may be he's their Rudy. He's their motivational factor that, He just put his head down, did his work. His time came. He stepped up.
And the biggest moment too.
Well, he's going to have to show he can throw the ball because Notre Dame is going to stack the box.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame is going to. So this matchup, and I know we're going to talk about these matchups much more in depth. But the team that runs the ball, and all apologies to Boise State and Genty, as a team, Notre Dame is the most powerful running team in the game right now. What they've done the last 7 weeks or so, just out of I formation running set, has been fantastic.
And with Riley.
Yeah, and you're looking at a Georgia defense that twice now has shut down Texas' rushing attack. Mm-hmm. This is going to be strength versus strength on that Notre Dame offense, Georgia defense side, and whichever team is more successful has a great chance to come out of that game.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Kirby, bro, and Kirby had, 3 weeks to prepare and get this kid ready. Kirby had 3 weeks to create a whole different offense specifically for Gunner. No one has tape on the kid, so that doesn't help either. Like, everything to me shows Georgia's going to win this game, just because I like the guy at the top. I mean, Kirby just wins these games. He's been winning these games his whole career, and seeing against Texas these big moments, his game plans are top tier. Yeah. And so stopping the run is what they do well, and that's all that Notre Dame wants to do. Mm-hmm. And so I think you talk about Gunner Stockton's going to have to show his arm. I think Riley Leonard's going to have to show his arm to prove that he's a passing quarterback and not just a quarterback power, all the time. So, yeah, it's going to be a slugfest. But I don't know. I just think Georgia, to me, watching them twice now in person, they got dudes, man. Yeah. They got legit. Not saying Notre Dame doesn't, but defensively, bro, they have dudes. And so I think they can shut down Notre Dame. The question is, can they score? But with Etienne back there, he's different. So just hand him the ball. Yeah. See what happens.
I want to. I can't even say it with a straight face. Uh-oh. I want to know, did the collective Raider Nation, please call in Raider Nation, 512-836-2887. Did they get mad that the Vegas Raiders are now 3-12 and won that game?
Yeah.
Because I believe they were tanking for Shedeur, just that the players didn't know it. The coach didn't know it, but everyone else knew it. Have guys ever remembered something like this where a nation was so unhappy about a win? Because I can't.
I can.
I know we've tanked
2 years ago.
People.
The Houston Texans did the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. They were mad.
They beat the Colts in their last game of the year.
Oh, yeah.
As a Texans fan, I was pissed. And I was happy, because my boy Lovey got a win.
Right.
We all thought Lovey he got screwed over, and, they hired him for a DEI hire, if we're being honest.
Yes.
Because of the Rooney Rule. And we just felt like, how you going to do a Hall of Fame coach like that? But he went out with a bang. And he got the dub.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, you idiot. We had the number one pick locked up. Like, it was the last game of the year, bro. Like, we lost the number one pick in the last game of the year.
Yeah.
And it's like, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
You still got CJ.
That.
So, yeah.
I forgot about that.
People were pissed, bro.
Even now, Bryce Young is looking operational. So
he looks good.
In a few years from now, we may look back at it and say, okay, one or two would have been okay. Would have been. I know Texans are very happy with what has happened, but
and now if you look at Texans Twitter right now, man, people are turning on CJ, bro.
So I got to ask you, Travis.
It's crazy.
Who gets Shedeur now? Because right now it's projected the Giants will have the first pick, then the Patriots, then the Jaguars, then the Browns. A lot of teams and then the Titans. A lot of teams that we know Deion didn't want them to go to. The Panthers, I don't know if they'll quit on Bryce. And then the Raiders, right now the projections are, according to ESPN, that they'll be the 7th pick.
Well, so the conversation starts and ends with the Giants and what they're going to do, because they clearly – they voided their roster of any good quarterbacks. They they don't have an NFL quarterback on their roster right now, in my opinion.
DeVito.
yeah. It's all about the cash. The moolah, Travis. We're doing the money sign that DeVito does to Travis, and he's like, "Get that out of my face."
I guess, and obviously, a lot of these top quarterbacks don't throw during combines. We just see pro day.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see who gets graded out as the top overall quarterback coming out. For my money, I think Shedeur Sanders is NFL ready. I think he can step in and run an offense.
Yeah.
I don't know, though, that he's going to be graded as the top quarterback coming out. That's
you think Cam got it?
I think so, and I think Cam's body's a little bit more NFL ready too.
I've heard a lot of that talk too.
I say, saying that, Shedeur Sanders also was sacked more than anybody in college football.
And kept on ticking.
And he got up every single time. So from that standpoint, I don't mean to be talking out of both sides of my mouth here, but still I do like the look of Cam's body, and it looks like a more NFL ready body coming out. And I think they're both similar. I think they're both good quarterbacks. So it will be interesting to watch and see how teams go back and forth with them.
I think we're going to need to go to a break. We may have to mention a little bit of this coming up. You're listening to the Fans View, KZI 88.7 FM.
We are back on the Fans View, KAZI 88.7. Travis Kent alongside KView 24's Corey Mose. Douglas Washington.
Yes.
Hey guys, lots going on this week. We had Wednesday game. Did you see that note during the Chiefs game that this year they have played on every day of the week except one?
I did not see that.
Crazy,
so I guess there have been no Tuesday NFL games this year yet.
Because at this point, they're just doing whatever they want.
So
I enjoyed the Wednesday game, though.
That's where I wanted to start here. If that's okay with you guys. What did you think of the NFL's decision this year to lean right into Christmas Day and go with Wednesday games?
You made LeBron mad. LeBron said, "This is our day."
Yeah.
But because of that, man, I liked it. Oh, I was so happy that there was a game to watch. Not just because it was Christmas, but we're off. We weren't at work. I was happy to have that game. Those games. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those two games. And the way they turned out. Sorry, Corey. The way they turned out, okay.
Ridiculous.
I'm okay. I enjoyed watching Lamar do what he did. For those who don't know, Corey Mose is from Houston, so he did not like how that turned out for the Texans.
With Beyonce there, too.
I was happy. Yeah.
Just embarrassing.
Did y'all see that while she was performing at halftime, in the stands, the fans held up "My House"? Mm-hmm. Is NRG? Is that what she's doing? She's like, "This is my house." Y'all ain't gonna do a Kendrick Lamar on me at the Super Bowl, even though he's from LA. You're not gonna do that to me. If it's in Houston, I own this.
Yeah, she loves to claim Houston a lot.
Ooh, yeah, she does. Even though she starts the song with "This ain't Texas." So.
She don't do nothing for the city though. That's kind of crazy how that works out.
but we got distracted. So Travis, your same question. Did you enjoy having two football games on Wednesday?
I did. And of course, this is the time of the year when college football regular season ends. We go with NFL Saturday games, and we see the schedule shift some. I was a little concerned about Wednesday games and the quality of the games.
Yes, sir.
I think they scheduled it as well as they could, getting teams that played on Thursday and Saturday so that they were getting at least the same type of rest you would have if you played a Sunday, Thursday.
Yes.
Back to back. So It was nice to have. I still miss it because I miss football on Christmas Day. Back growing up,
yes.
It was the Blue-Gray All-Star game, right?
Yes.
It was, and you had things like that, and so it might not have been great football, but it was football on Christmas Day.
That's happy.
The old Hula Bowl.
Yep.
Out in Hawaii used to always be Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And so you had a couple of views. So yeah, I looked. The Mavericks played on Christmas Day, and so I certainly watched some of that. I watched a little bit of the Lakers. It was just I've watched probably more NBA early this season. Usually I'm a later in the season NBA watcher.
Yeah.
I've probably watched more games this year, certainly than I have in many recent years. But
proud of you.
But it was nice to see some football on Christmas Day for sure. I guess it will be interesting to see if they continue to lean into this. I mean, they've signed all these contracts with these streaming platforms, and they got to give them some content.
They do.
And so, Netflix getting those games, there were, I don't know, next year, what does that make, will it be on a Tuesday or a Thursday?
It'd be on a Thursday.
A Thursday?
Yeah.
So
the Prime
certainly
Video,
we'll see Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Prime.
So Prime will own the whole day. They'll have that Thursday night game, which they already contractually have, and they could try
Double
to proposition and get this.
They very well could.
Gosh, Travis, this is bad for me to do this to all Texas listeners, but it was a bad day. The Texans got smacked around by the Ravens. Luka, we hear, is going to be out for a month.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a gift in your stocking. That was a lump of coal. Can we talk about the Texas heartache on Christmas?
Hey, Rockets
with
won.
you two.
Well, last night. But
yeah,
it's not Christmas Day.
No, it's not Christmas Day. So, Travis, I'm starting to worry though. These lower body injuries on Luka. He's young. It's a lot. I'm gonna say it. Is Luka injury prone? And I know we have a lot of wear on that body because of his professional history. And without that history, he may not be Luka.
Yeah.
Because everyone talks about how Luka never gets sped up. And that's because he's got all this experience. And he figured out at whatever point, maybe when he was 18, that, man, you ain't the fastest. You ain't the biggest athlete. So just play your game and then make them react to you. So, Travis, let's start with you and Luka. We'll get to the Texans with Corey. But are you worried about Luka's health?
Yeah, I think you have to. He gets in a lot of contact. He hits the floor a lot. I think you just as a Mavericks fan, you've got to be worried about him. I think we've kind of gotten used to the fact we're more and more used to nowadays seeing guys miss 15 to 20 games a season anyway.
Yes.
Whether it be, just load management, personal time away from the team for a week for the birth of a baby. There's more, a lot of we would never talk about this stuff back in the 70s and 80s and 90s. We wouldn't see Larry Bird taking the second night of a back-to-back off or something like that, or tell Jordan he has to take a night off. I mean, good gosh. But now we're more used to it, and so you'd rather it be 20 games on their own terms rather than it be 20 games because of injury. But at the end of the day, this Mavericks team is at least in a better position to absorb not having Luka. You've got Kyrie out there. You've got both your big men are healthy right now, and so you've got Clay. So they're better positioned to withstand this. You look around right now. All three Texas teams are 500 or above. The Rockets, at some point we're going to talk about the Rockets because they're number 2 in the league right now. How long can they sustain that?
They gotta fall off.
They gotta fall off a little bit, right?
They're young.
Yeah.
But
I watched them last night though.
Well,
Man,
Jalen Green he's peaking. He's looking good, especially since Thanksgiving. He's had a couple duds, but he's figured it out.
And they made some adjustments. He's starting Amen Thompson now, and since he's been starting, he's averaging. I saw this stat yesterday, like 18 and 9 rebounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I didn't think Amen could score like that. So
wait. Let me come back.
Yeah.
Let me come back to this because Travis, there was something I had loaded for you then.
Uh-huh.
So then, Luka is listed at 6'6", 230. I Googled it before we came in, and it said the average weight of NBA players, because I just wanted to go there, was 215 pounds. Mm-hmm. And it's been declining every year since 2010-11 because of the perimeter-oriented game nowadays. So he's heavy.
Yeah.
And he's been carrying that weight for a while. And his style of play, as you mentioned, and his usage level.
Yeah.
So now that I brought all that to you, I'd like to get your reaction to that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's always been a concern. Look, Luka tends to, now this year I don't think it was as bad, but he tends to come in looking like he's about 15 pounds overweight to start a season anyway.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, if you go back and look at the past, say, 3 seasons, Dallas would get off to like a 4-9 start or something like that, and Luka just looked like he was out of gas all the time. Then all of a sudden he plays his way into shape, and they start clawing their way back. And I'm like, man, you're giving away like 6 games in the first month of the season, and those 6 games would have moved you from the 7 seed to the 4 seed, or the 5 seed to the 2 seed. I mean, last year's team making it all the way to the conference finals. Did you go back, look at their first 15 games to start last season? I think they were 5-10.
Sheesh.
So it's it's always been a concern that he does usually play his way into his body looks better, but he's just not a workout guy. He's just never going to be one of these physical, imposing body styles. But you're just going to have to live with it. But I mean, that's the concern here, is that he's been doing this since he was 16 years old. That's a lot of games on that body.
But Dirk wasn't really like that, right? Or was Dirk in the gym?
No, but Dirk also wasn't as physical. He didn't take as many shots. He wasn't a dribble drive type of guy. And that's the big thing for Luka is, he's always going to be the dribble drive, and the one-man isolation ball is always going to be a big part of his game. Mm-hmm. And so he's always going to be in contact. He's always going to have a second guy and third guy sliding over to create contact. So it looks like we got a call coming in, so we're going to try to jump into the phones. Hey, caller, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Hey, good morning, Travis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, I just wanted to comment about what Doug was asking Travis, what put an ask out gentleman about, the guys and the injuries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a 70s baby, and I'm going to have to pull a Kendrick Lamar. Y'all mentioned you couldn't ask Jordan the Bird to sit out or whatever. Jordan had the flu and still hit, 40, 50 points one night?
Yeah.
The guys, and I have to remind myself like this for my son, or even watching sometime high school football. You got linemen running 4.7s, 4.9s, or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they ask for, I guess, endurance-wise, it's a different breed.
Yeah.
It's a totally different breed. I played high school football when we had 3 days.
Yeah.
Up to 2 days.
Yeah.
We lift weights and just shirts and helmets in the morning, take a break, then we hit the weight room, then full pass later on these days. And even on the NFL side, on the NBA side, these guys sometimes they're great, the athleticism is great, but it's just not the same. You take you take a regular kid today and the kids from maybe the late 90s. You know, we used to jump off of buildings, 2-story buildings. It seems like, man, fall back and hit our head and, you know, not knowing we had to get up now. Now you get a kid, you can thump him in his head and he might not need it.
Yeah.
They smarter, they faster, and some of them even stronger. But they just don't have, I just think, work-wise, maybe with the exception of hockey, and can't even say that hockey. Cause they like that. They just, some of them just don't have the work that a lot of us had, or a lot of players, old school players had from back in the day. And, you know, that just comes with evolution, you know.
Yeah, and a lot of it's been put into the game, right? Yeah. Through collective bargaining agreements and things like that. I saw I know in the Cowboys press conference, and so I would assume that it's very similar across the spectrum of the NFL. But Mike McCarthy said in his press conference the other day that they've already had their last padded practice of the season. They play a game on Sunday, and they got one more game the next week, and they're not going to have another padded practice the rest of the year. Now, if you extrapolate that over, maybe there are 5 or 6 teams who have maybe one padded practice next week before the final week of the season. Maybe some of these playoff teams might still be doing a little bit of contact. But at this point in the season, I mean, we're 17 weeks into a season. That's a lot of wear and tear on the body. But to the point of this caller, and to the point we've talked about this over the years, they're to the point where there's just so little contact during the season, and it affects play. You know, I think we've seen sloppier play early in the seasons, but that's just kind of the change to the game.
Yeah, and you often got to wonder. I mean, you know, like I mentioned about the overworkout. I mean, because you know, we was taught the philosophy: you practice. You practice like crap. Yeah. Don't care how good of a player you was, you gonna play like crap. So the coaches, you know what I'm saying. So you know, we had full contact or whatever, pretty much every day. You know, some of us get hurt doing practice or whatever or whatnot. It's just not the same. I mean, you know, look at Prime. Yeah. We are those of us that I grew up with Prime. Third toe. Yeah. Still make 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Lead a game, catch a plane, hit a home run. Dump a while with tough toe. I just wonder sometimes, is it too much full contact? Is it too much, or is it your weight? You know, like in basketball, I'm 5'9" and 235, and I know, you know, at times I can be like, you know, I was a fullback in high school, and I often wonder, you know, if my weight played a factor in anything, you know, like now with these aching bones or whatever. But I just think some of these guys sometimes, load management is a good thing, but then it can be a bad thing sometimes. I mean, I don't know.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, we appreciate the call. Thank you.
Travis, the only thing I want to disagree with him though, because he was talking evolution and he's saying they're getting smaller. I just wanted to kind of tell you guys a little bit. I was looking at talonmarks.com, and they were just stating, according to the Star article in 1970, only one NFL player weighed over 300 pounds. The numbers of those players grew during the next few decades. The average lineman right now runs to 40 and 5.3. So they've gotten bigger and they're more athletic. So I want to go the other way with him on that. Last week, Corey and I sat in with Simply Courtney sat in with us. He has a son that's an 8th grader, and he's 6'2", and he plays select basketball. And his dad showed me that there are other camps and things that they go to where his son is not the tallest. There were 6'6" kids out there, 6'7" kids out there who are in 7th and 8th grade. So I want to refute that, because I think we're evolving the other way.
I am interested to see, like, the numbers of longevity in careers, if like these load management things do help. I would love to see like how long are a lot of these football players not staying in the league, because of course we all know that has nothing to do with your health at times. It's just about if you're talented or not.
Yeah.
But the guys that do make the rosters, how often are these season-ending injuries happening? And then are these season injuries more so because of we're bigger, faster, and stronger, so torn ligaments, pop ACLs?
Yes.
Or is it because of wear and tear? You know, and so I don't know if there's any way you can quantify that or track that.
Yeah.
But that would definitely be interesting, because, I mean, I totally agree. Coming from the generation that, you know, I feel like kind of started this whole, you know, load management thing, I do look at my parents, and I do look even my older sisters. My older sister, she's 38, and so she tells me all the time, like, "Oh, you didn't grow up the way I grew up," you know. And so I see the toughness too out of her, right? And so like it used to piss me off. Not gonna lie to you, because like, what are you talking about? We grew up in the same household,
right?
But I mean, if I'm being real, like, 11 years later, my parents weren't the same parents 11 years later,
yes.
You know, when they had me, you know, and so they were a little bit nicer. They were a little bit more, all right, you can get away with that one, you know.
They were tired.
Yeah, they were tired. They were tired.
No, I have 3 kids.
Yes.
And I'm doing things with my oldest right now, and I was in a batting cage throwing yesterday, and I remembered saying to my wife about how I was off because the holiday, and I was nursing this right calf, and it was kind of slippery in there, so I was scared to throw, and I was all off. And I was saying to her, well, if I'm hurting like this now, by the time my youngest gets up, man, he's not going to get the best of me, to your point, Corey, that I'm going to be a little beat down because of what the first 2 kids, what I put myself through. I'm throwing over 100 balls every day in there just to get my kids right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can do that then.
Human physiology has just changed so much. And one of the things that always strikes me, you were talking about the offensive line stats, right? And we certainly know that these linemen are bigger, but they're also faster and stronger. You're no longer just a big, heavy guy, so you play offensive line.
Yeah.
You're a big guy that's been in the weight room and built your body up, and you can just turn on ESPN and you can see former players, Mark Schlereth,
Yep.
who probably walks around now at 45 pounds less than his playing weight. Dan Neal, former UT offensive lineman that played for the Broncos for a while. He lives back here in the Austin area now. I remember he used to have to just fill his body with empty calories to stay at 275 pounds when he played in the NFL.
Wow.
And then he gets out of the NFL, he was at 230, like that. Because that's what his natural body weight was. Because he's a fit, trim athlete, not just a big, fat offensive lineman. And so that's part of and that's why we see these guys can get to 320 pounds, but still be able to run a 4.7, 4.8, 40. That's just the makeup of the body, and we see the changes in all sports, and every sport then has to adjust to what does that mean to injuries, things like that. We have more 100-mile-an-hour fastball throwers in Major League Baseball than we've ever had. We're also having more Tommy John surgeries and more shoulder surgeries than we've ever had. So every sport is going through it. Every sport is learning to deal with it. The NBA's is load management and how to extend the career of your superstars. I mean, LeBron's just a freak. We're not going to judge everybody against him. But, especially with the dollars that you're spending on these guys, you want to think that they can play till they're 35, 36 years old.
Yeah.
Fastest offensive lineman in the draft in 2020. His name was Tristan Wirfs, and he ran a 4.85 40. He is still in the league. He was drafted in the first round by the Tampa Bay Bucks, and he's 6'5", 320.
Yep.
So
he's one of the best offensive linemen in the league.
That's right.
So I mean, that's kind of like.
Yep.
They're different, bro.
Yeah.
Linemen are different. The way they move, like, D linemen are crazy, too. Like, just thinking about a guy like Myles Garrett. Like, you're just a freak of nature. He's an alien. But a lot of these offensive linemen have to block Myles Garrett. And so you've seen the evolution of DEs, and that's caused the left tackles and the right tackles to really figure some things out with their legs. You know, because you got to get off that first jump, you know, because these guys are coming off the edge fast.
It's incredible. Thanks for calling in. We do appreciate you guys doing that. Remember, 512-836-2887, and you could be a part of the show, too. We love that interaction, and so we appreciate that.
We haven't heard from Mr. Oklahoma yet, and he's probably pre-gaming right now. They got a game at what time they start?
Oklahoma plays today?
The first game is 12.
I don't care, bro.
What? The first game is, right now, he's working on getting, he's got to have the wings. It's about placement. The wings here, the popcorn here, the remote trip, an extra pair of batteries over here.
Bowl. Shout out to the troops.
Yeah, so he's ready. He's got to get ready. Hey, Navy played the spoiler for Army, and if they could go ahead and get this win today,
Oklahoma's such a funny
good way to come out. But then again, they're playing a great Oklahoma team.
Great, crazy.
Well, they're 6-6. they got their little upset.
Great is crazy.
So what do we say?
No Jackson. Who's playing quarterback?
Do we say that it's luck?
Is it Michael Hawkins?
Probably.
Venables. Michael Venables will be running out there today. Everybody know his son's name?
This team, bro.
Calling a cousin.
They got no receiver. Who they throw the ball to? The whole receiver room hit the transfer portal.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, well, you're saying there's a chance?
We're gonna have to get to a break. But was it Marshall that had to pull out of their bowl game?
Yep.
Because they had 35 players enter the transfer portal. They had to call and go, sorry, man, we can't even fill the roster. So.
I mean, I don't know who legit. Who are they throwing the ball to? Could everybody in the receiver room left? Even Brennan Thompson.
I guarantee you, Mr. Oklahoma won't know the answer to that question.
Brennan Thompson left too?
Brennan Thompson, he hit the portal.
I know. This is crazy. I'm
like, bro, this is when you can get a lot of reps. You know, everyone else hit the portal. That means you stay. You on the field.
See, first you were like, shout out to the troops. Now you downplaying Navy's potential win. That they were beating up on a skeleton crew.
They are.
But let them have it, brother. Well, it'll go down in history as them knocking off
no
Army.
No one's going to know this.
Yeah.
You know, no one's going to know this.
They on the depth chart, they've got Michael Hawkins listed as a starter. We may get to see a Casey Thompson sighting, though.
That'd be cool. He's a big gamer. Good old Casey.
Can't wait.
Are we gonna? We should go back to that Shedeur conversation after the break.
Let's do that.
Yeah. I don't think we were done with that.
Let's go ahead and get to a break, and let's.
Actually, you gotta talk about the Texans.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Look at him get so happy. He's so happy to talk about how bad the Texans are.
No, we'll have to do it when we come back then.
And we're back on the Fans View. You are listening to KAZI FM Austin. Travis Kent alongside Corey Mose. KVU24's Corey Mose. And Douglas Washington as always.
Yeah.
Hey Douglas, thank you for twisting and tweaking the dials today. Jamal's flying back in today from parts unknown. Where did he said he was
New York.
He went to New York, right?
Yeah.
So he's coming back from New York. He's flying in
worldwide.
So yeah.
Phones are buzzing.
And
is that who I think it is?
We got the phones out to ringing. So hey, caller, you there?
Yeah, y'all laugh on y'all walk. Okay. Y'all laugh on y'all walk because I'm laughing at Oklahoma and the Cowboys. And I know Douglas laughing at the Cowboys. I know Douglas is.
Boomer!
I have never talked so much Cowboys since I started on this show. I at this point, that probably is my undercover favorite team because man. I have given so much. It is
pitiful.
And CeeDee Lamb just got shut down.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
And I just dropped Brandon Cooks from my fantasy team.
Hey, they went down with a bang though. I will say that. I mean, beating the Bucks is kind of cool.
Yeah.
The Bucks was on a roll.
Yeah.
Falcons fans are happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Man, I can't believe Jerry Jones is so happy the Cowboys won. I say, Jerry Jones, you not happy because they won, they beat the Bears? Are you serious?
He's happy to be interviewed.
Wow.
Yeah, he's keeping McCarthy, man.
Oh.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, he's keeping McCarthy.
Wow. I didn't expect that.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to start on them Oklahoma Sooners, man. I'm laughing too. Because you have to blame the athletic director. You know, they don't want to get rid of him. And man, I'm laughing too because this is crazy, man. I'm serious.
Oh, so you're done blaming Venables. So you're like, let's just go up. Let's blame the AD for not firing Venables.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Man,
that's fair.
I'm disappointed too. You know, I really am.
Hey, y'all taking a win today? Y'all gonna beat the troops?
Well, man, you know, I mean, I hope we do. That's the only thing I can say. I hope we do.
Does not sound confident.
Yeah, I don't. I don't have confidence in them. I don't.
Well, man, Danny Stutzman's gonna lock him up. Danny Stutzman, linebacker, he's gonna lock him up.
No.
Oh yeah.
That defense. That's the one thing Venables can't do.
Yeah.
Defense will look good.
But you know when they showed those in games, they had at 12 o'clock they had 2 games, and then 3 o'clock they had 2 games on. Man, I like that. I wish they keep that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they keep that. You know, because they had 2 games on at 12 o'clock, and then they had 2 games on at 3 o'clock. They need to keep that year round.
So this game is at the Amon Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas.
Amon G. Carter.
Amon G. Carter Stadium. Okay, so that means
TCU's campus. That's their home football.
Oh, I did not know that. Yep. So then this allows a bunch of Sooner fans to show up.
Oh, they'll be
pack the stadium.
Yeah.
And get them boys hype.
Yeah, I don't know if there'll be that many there.
No, that I was trying to say.
All the OU fans that live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they'll come on out, but I don't think a lot of people drove down from Norman for this game.
No one's drove. Mr. Oklahoma, if you had a free ticket, would you drive up to watch it?
Oh, me?
A free ticket?
Uh-huh.
No.
Still, that wouldn't even sell it.
With the free ticket.
Man, I would try to sell my ticket, man, but I wouldn't want to go. I want to go. I mean, because they're just pitiful this year, man. I'm serious.
Come on, brother. Yeah. It's the Armed Forces Bowl. You're going to have a military flyover. Ain't that enough to get you there?
Yeah, but hey, I can see it on TV.
All right, I'm done trying.
See in the house.
Okay, what other bowl are you excited about today? Something tells me you excited about the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. You always talking DirecTV.
You know, I'm excited with a lot of bowls, man, because I like a lot of bowl games. You know, I watched those bowl games yesterday when Pitt lost to Toledo.
Travis,
you know
that game is being played at the Snapdragon Stadium. Who owns that stadium, Travis? What the heck?
You know what Snapdragon Stadium is?
No,
that's San Diego Chargers' old stadium.
Okay, see, I knew you'd know it. Yo,
the big sombrero.
That's crazy to know that. I'm like, I don't know where.
I didn't know the new name. I used to live there. I used to go to San Diego's like 3 times a week.
That's not true. That's not true.
I didn't know that.
I mean, they just sold the naming rights again, right? But what was it called when the Chargers still played there? I can't remember what its last. They used to call it the Big Sombrero because that overhead view, because it has those spiral walkways on every corner.
Oh, really?
I don't remember. I can't remember who the sponsor was. Anyway, yeah.
I almost said Joe Robbie. I almost called it the Miami Stadium. Yeah. So, Mr. Oklahoma, what else? What else has you excited about today's game?
I want to say, man, who y'all gonna pick to win the Super Bowl?
Oh, you going there? Sheesh.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get in first. Then
let me say this right quick.
Okay.
15-1. 15-1. Golly. And home field advantage through the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, it looked like you trying to convince us. But,
right?
But you convinced me. But no, that's who I was going to say anyway. Yeah, y'all got to come take it. Come take it from the Chiefs. So I'm thinking the Chiefs is going to win it. That's my now they got Hollywood Brown back. You got Xavier Worthy, Noah Gray looks amazing. The tight ends that they're throwing outside of Kelsey, they look healthy. The defense is there. It looks like they're resting big man Chris Jones. Maybe they're resting him these last couple games, keep him fresh. So that's why I got. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I got the Chiefs. Like, I just can't. I can't go away from them because they're the reigning back-to-back champs. They've done this before. You know, Andy Reid, he had a quote before the game on Christmas, and they were talking about the number one seed and how important is it to get the number one seed for home field advantage. And he was like, honestly, I don't really care. Like, we done it both ways. we won a Super Bowl going all on the road, and we won a Super Bowl going all at home. And when he said that, I'm like, dang, like, yeah, they have done this. And so they're peaking at the right time. I'm watching the game, and I'm thinking, okay, wow, he has X doing these crazy routes now because Hollywood Brown is back. So then that puts Xavier at a spot where he can just come out the backfield.
Yes.
He can do more gadget stuff. So then Hollywood does a more Rashee Rice role. And then I look around like, well, on third down and red zone, you can throw it to D-Hop. You can throw it to Kelsey. Oh, wait, they have a guy named Justin Watson also out of nowhere that continues to come up big moments. You mentioned Noah Gray.
Yeah.
And then Pacheco, even though he looks like he's hurt with the ribs. But still, you got Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, golly, bro. Like, how many weapons did we discuss last year that Patrick didn't have? And now this year, I feel like he has so many weapons on offense. You couple that with still a stout defense. I just don't see how you go anywhere else. The only other team I think is the Eagles, of course. But the thing with the Eagles is there has so much dysfunction over there, and they keep winning. But like at some point, that dysfunction, Travis, you know the NFL history. When has a team out? Maybe the Cowboys, but I don't know I wasn't alive during that time, so I don't know if the Cowboys were that openly dysfunctional in front of the media as the Eagles are when they went on their Super Bowl runs.
Yeah, no, I can't remember a team that has had more outward media tension.
Yeah.
Than this Eagles team has. So, they're gonna have to. We're gonna see what they look like. I actually have to make a roster move because Jalen Hurts is my quarterback. He's gonna be out this week. Of course, it doesn't matter. I've already lost the semifinals. I'm in the consolation bracket anyway. But
but third place though, right?
Yeah,
third place.
I'm playing for third place too.
Yeah, get your money back.
So.
But one dark horse, though, Miss Oklahoma, I will say this. I like the Packers. I like the Packers a lot. I think that's another team that could really challenge the Chiefs because they run the football and they play great defense. And if you have that combination with Matt LaFleur and you don't got to listen to Aaron Rodgers anymore, I like the Packers a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I like, for the Super Bowl, I like Detroit.
Yeah.
I like Detroit.
Hey, how about that Week 18 matchup between Minnesota and Detroit?
Yeah.
I
didn't expect Minnesota to be in it this long. Like in the division race.
Yeah.
They have a legit chance of winning it.
They do.
But Sam Darnold.
What about him? You said, but I said I was surprised they made it this far.
With Sam Darnold, it just blows my mind.
It's O'Connell, bro. It's the O'Connell effect.
I'm telling you. Oh, okay. Mr. Oklahoma, because I had something on that I wanted to bring up and ask you guys about later. Mr. Oklahoma, what else you got?
Yeah, man. I want to tell you, I'm enjoying this basketball, man. I watched that game last night, the Lakers and the Warriors.
Woo!
Boy, that Steph Curry came alive.
Steph going Steph.
They lost, but that dude was he hit at the last seconds of the game. He hit the backboard. And that boy probably could have went in,
Yeah.
I say, God,
yeah,
dog.
It almost went in.
It sure did.
Did it stand out to you that Steph needs help? Did that stand out to you?
Help?
Yeah, he needs help.
Yeah, well, but they came close to winning it, but they lose by 2 points, 2 or 3 points.
But think about that though. He's 35.
The Rockets need help. The Rockets they do. They need help, man. Because I watched that cup game, and they lost in that. But man, they need another player. Because I'm definitely a Rocket fan.
You're the number 2 team in the West, in the loaded West. You're over the Memphis Grizzlies, the Dallas Mavericks, the champion Denver Nuggets. You're over all of them, and we didn't even talk about the Golden State Warriors. You're over all of them, and you talking about they need help?
Yeah, they haven't won a championship yet.
Okay.
They haven't won a championship yet.
This could be the year.
They win the championship, and we won in a long time since the King and them was out. But we need another championship in Houston.
And I also want to remind people, in their division, they're 6-1. So, again,
the Mavericks are in the division.
Killing it.
And the Spurs.
Yeah. Mr. Oklahoma, before you go, I just want to ask you one other little question. And so we talked about a bunch of different sports there. I know you have something obscure that you've been checking on. Is there anything else that you've been eyeing that we haven't talked about yet?
We haven't talked about North Crowley.
I knew he was going to talk about
I tell you, that North Crowley got nothing but speed.
Man, you talking about North Crowley like an Austin team ain't win state. That's the first team you mentioned? So you talking about North Crowley and you didn't even mention the Austin team that won state.
Well, I know what's his name, Vandergrim.
See, you can't even get the name right, man. That's crazy. That's your city.
He don't
you
even
like you from Dallas.
Yeah, I know. I was going to get to that. But I was going to get to that. But what I'm trying to say, man, North Carolina, they just outran Westlake. I mean, bombs and running backs and North Shore just kept trying to run against Westlake, that defense. And, that's why they got beat. Because Westlake was ready for North Shore. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to say North Carolina looks good. North Carolina looks good. They had a lot of new schools that like Randall's. I ain't never heard of Randall's. And they won.
Yeah, Monster. Never heard of Monster.
Monster. But there's a lot I got to talk about, man. I mean, but I'm getting rushed off the phone. But hey, I'll talk to y'all next Friday, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Oklahoma.
Dion's gonna enjoy that kid,
gentlemen,
from North Crowley.
Yeah.
I gotta say it. I love getting chest to chest with Mr. Oklahoma. That was a 13.5-minute call, and he's still complaining. We show him that much love and respect, and he don't get enough. He won't be part of the show.
13 minutes is crazy. 13.
Yeah. Now the station manager gonna be mad at me now that I drew attention to it. So here's a couple of questions I had. First, I want to say, you can't pay Purdy. I just want to say that.
Okay.
And I'd love to hear y'all's reaction.
I agree.
Oh.
I think you offer him high 30s, low 40s, $1 million range. If he says no, you say, okay, you're under contract.
Okay.
I mean, this because he's asking to get paid early. That's what he's asking for. He's still under contract for another year.
Yeah.
And so I hate to say it, but that's the business. And if you don't accept this offer, they're not obligated to pay him $50 million, which I don't know. I think this year was probably the worst year for him.
Yeah, for sure.
This was the prove it year.
Yeah.
And it was his worst year career-wise. So I think you got to go back to the drawing board if you're his agent and be like, look, we got to do better next year.
Travis?
Yeah, no, I don't think you pay him. I think you. Yeah, I'm 100% on board with what Corey was talking about.
Okay.
Go to it with an offer, what you feel is a fair offer, for where he probably stacks up, and what you can afford to pay. The one thing about this structure at San Francisco, John Lynch, and then Shanahan at coach, is I don't think they're afraid to essentially say, play for this or we'll move on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, this is a franchise that drafted a quarterback number one and moved on from him within 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, think about Jimmy G.
Yeah.
A quarterback that took him to the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Yeah.
And moved on from him like it was nothing.
Yeah.
So when I say that, I say pay Darnold. What is y'all's reaction to that?
How much?
Well, I think Darnold should try to stay in Minnesota and let them ship off McCarthy.
Yeah.
McCarthy.
Well, they're not shipping off McCarthy.
In this league, in this year's draft, McCarthy might be top 3 in this draft.
Yeah.
And so some teams may want that. Because especially Travis, you said that there are teams that might be waiting on a quarterback, and they know if we're not going to get those two, maybe we're going to wait a little bit later. But if someone comes to you from Minnesota and says, hey, we'll give you McCarthy for your first round pick so we can get back in there and get something else. But if I was Darnold, if I can't stay in Minnesota, the only other place I would want to go is back to San Francisco. I think Darnold needs to go where everybody knows your name, where he's going to be respected and to flourish. I think he should get a couple more years under his belt, getting that kind of respect. So
I like San Fran a lot, but Purdy's a guy out there, because in our situation, Purdy's still the quarterback. Mm-hmm. What we mentioned, whether you pay him or not, we still say Purdy is the quarterback. Yeah.
Oh,
so
trade him.
It's not that easy,
If you know he wants a lot of money and you're not going to give it to him, trade him because you got Darnold coming back.
I think you have a better argument with that situation than trading. They're not trading McCarthy. You just need to get that thought out your mind.
Oh,
that's not happening. But I think you have a better argument with potentially San Fran trading Purdy more than McCarthy. Either way, I don't think any of those situations will happen.
Right.
But it's just, I can see that. I think he should go to Indianapolis. I'm on that train. I think the closest thing that he can get to Minnesota, not just scheme wise, but coach wise, is Steichen.
I like that.
And I think they have a win now team. I think the defense is stout.
Yep.
They have number one receiver in Pittman. By the way, they played together at USC, him and Darnold. Mm-hmm. And so, former teammate, got A.D. Mitchell, got Josh Downs. You got a great running back. Offensive line is top 5 in the league. I just think the coach is a perfect fit for Sam Darnold. But I don't know if they go that route because of PTSD.
Right.
They did the Nick Foles thing. They did the Matt Ryan thing.
Uh-huh.
They did these old quarterbacks. I'm not saying Sam Darnold's old, but already proven things in the league. Let's bring them on our team, see what happens. They did the Carson Wentz.
And that's the thing we have to. As great as Sam Darnold has been this year, it's 1 year.
Yeah.
It's 1 year. He's going to get paid. Somebody's going to pay him money, and we'll see if he can do it somewhere else again.
Well, that's why I was saying he needs to go to a loaded situation, get a couple more years of looking good, so we get that stench, that smell of the first few years off of him, and he's respected. And then he's almost like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
He goes somewhere, sign a 2 or 3 year deal. I don't know, but if he signs a 2 or 3 year deal at San Fran or with Minnesota, stand out, and then that smell is off of him.
Yeah.
Just don't go to the Jets.
All right, we got a caller on the line, so we're going to jump into the phones. Hey, caller, you there?
Yes.
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right. Two quick things. First of all, I really enjoy the show as always. But the second thing, the NBA Christmas still needs to be dedicated to them NFL because of all the money hungry owners. They kind of created a collusion, and so they're trying to, infringe on that. I love sports. I'm a purist. I love all types of sports, but we should just, dedicate to basketball and NBA on Christmas Day. The other thing, as far as the championship, I guess the potentially who should win the Super Bowl, I have to at this point go with my team, Kansas City. But at the same time, if you look for 2 other teams that potentially, if they get there, that could possibly grind it out, That would be Baltimore, of course, Pittsburgh, and then finally, it's going to be a great day today, I believe, for Alexander as Vandy plays their game today against Georgia Tech. Yeah. And that's it. But you guys have a great day and a great New Year as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah.
I like what he said. Because we didn't mention Baltimore.
Right.
Which is very disrespectful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's on us. Definitely.
We were going to get to
that team's legit.
Yeah.
With that move to Kyle Hamilton at free safety, it's changed everything for that secondary. You can't stop Lamar and Derek. It's just not possible. And so, I like Baltimore too. But the thing about Baltimore, there's just something in the playoffs. They just can't get over that hump in the playoffs. And, Kansas City went to Baltimore last year and beat them. So, I like Baltimore, though. And, I said Vanderbilt's played today. Also, Will Hammond from Hutto is starting quarterback for Texas Tech today.
Oh, okay.
So
versus
he's getting
Arkansas.
His first career start in a bowl game as a true freshman. Shout out Will Hammond from Hutto, and also shout out Cedric Alexander, LBJ grad. So a couple Austin guys. If you don't want to watch the Sooners, you can turn on another bowl game with some Austin guys in those games playing big roles.
Yeah. And then you got the Aggies tonight in the nightcap against USC.
Oh, that's fun.
That's in
Las
Vegas. Yeah.
That's fun.
That's a show.
Who's playing? Is Marcel going to play quarterback? I know they got that big time transfer.
That's a good question.
Did.
Let me see here.
But I'm guessing Marcel's going to still play. What were you saying?
Well, we didn't get a chance. I was asking about the Texas horrible coal in the stocking Christmas Day, and we didn't get a chance to hear your take on the Texans.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. I will say, I'll start off with that, just for the city, just to have the national showcase and hyping up Beyonce at halftime, and you are the game. And to put on that performance was sad to see, especially at home as well, against a team that knocked you out the playoffs last year. So you would think that, hey, let's get them back for ending our season a year ago. But it just wasn't the case. But, I mean, at the end of the day, when you watch the game, you look around, Nico's the only one that can get open. Mechie, he's not the same guy,
nope.
Unfortunately. Xavier Hutchinson, he's not. There's a reason why he was drafted in the 4th, 5th round. I just don't see the weapons because everyone's hurt. Diggs being hurt and Tank being hurt is something that I feel like a lot of Texans fans aren't really putting enough credit in for the difficulties on offense. The line still can't block, so that's been a problem all year. We've been talking about that since the Jets game, and CJ has regressed. Now how much is that his fault? I don't know. It's definitely offensive coordinator's fault because every time I look up, it's 2nd and 9, and it's 2nd and 13, it's 2nd and 11, it's 2nd and 10. You have to get yards on first down. Now, mind you, on the flip side, Derrick Henry's getting 5 yards of carry on first down. Yeah. So they're looking at 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4. You can do a lot more things in 2nd and 3 and 2nd and 5 than 2nd and 10. So the first down calls have just been horrible all year for the Texans. And so it's crazy how a year changes things. Bobby Slowick was up for head coaching interviews, and now they're asking for his head. So I think that's my take on the whole Texans situation. But we'll make the playoffs. We're already in. We'll lose in the first round. If we play the Steelers, we may beat the Steelers at home and then get thrashed by Baltimore in the second round. It's a first round exit or a close first round win, get thrashed in the second round. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
unfortunately. Great year, though.
Okay, before we go to break, I guess this means what you just said before that, when you said Baltimore is a really good team. And so we almost have to ask ourselves, what did we expect if we really think, because no one's putting the Texans in the Super Bowl. Mm-mm. But if a lot of people are saying out of AFC, it could be the Ravens, then this is the performance we kind of needed. And it just kind of shows that they're in a separate category.
Tax bracket.
Joe Mixon only got 9 carries. And he got 2 catches.
I mean, you're down by double digits early, so you can't run the ball no more.
Okay, and then Dalton Schultz. Didn't we think he was a top 12 tight end?
Yeah, when the coverage is worried about 3 other receivers.
Okay.
Yeah, not when you can put Kyle Hamilton on you and you got nothing to do. You can shut down. So
okay.
Yeah.
No, those are the things I was worried about. You're consistent. We appreciate you, even though I know it's painful. You're a homer. We appreciate that you.
I'm a realist.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm a realist.
All right. We got to get
Devin Travis Kent alongside KV24's Corey Mose and Douglas Washington, and we have a caller on the line, so we jump right into the phones. Caller, you there?
Hey, Travis, I don't want to be on the air, man.
Oh,
but I want to, like Mr. January, he answers the phone out the air, and I tell him what I want to tell y'all. But, there's 2 things I like about Texas. I like the band, and I like the boss.
Yeah.
You know who the boss is?
Talking about Del Conte, or are you talking about Sark?
No, sir. Neither one of them.
Who are you talking about?
Bevo.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Bevo's not going. He's not going to Atlanta.
Bevo is the boss, boy.
Yeah, he is. Believe me.
Yeah, and I want to say, man, Ricky Henderson passed away, so goodbye.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Thanks for calling in, Mr. Oklahoma.
Appreciate you, Mr. Oklahoma.
Call back. No. Well, we were deep in a conversation, and I don't look at the caller ID, so I wanted to give that person a chance and finish our thought. But we appreciate him calling back. So, gentlemen, I threw you guys a couple things off air. We kind of always get our cowboy talk since we have you, Travis. But did you guys want to take any of those items? Do you guys believe in trading a coach? And I said trade Shanahan.
Yeah, I mean, Gruden got traded, right?
Yeah, Gruden got traded.
But
Shanahan's one of those coaches that doesn't grow on trees. Like I think the NFL, if you look at, we talked about this earlier about the draft order, and the Raiders have 3 wins, but they're still only number 7 in the draft order.
Yes, sir.
That shows you, I believe, a third of the league has 3 wins or less.
Correct.
That's 10 to 12 teams have 3 wins or less, or 4 wins or less. That's bad football. That is horrible football. And I think you can correlate that to there is a gap when it comes to head coaches in the NFL. There's the top tier, and there's these new coaches that are in there, coaches that shouldn't be head coaches. And I think Shanahan is at that category of top. He's up there with the Dan Campbells, the Andy Reeds, the Matt LaFleurs, the Sean McVays. You don't touch those guys.
Okay.
Because they don't grow on trees every day. And so, I just think that Shanahan's on that level, and you just don't trade a guy like that.
To your question, I don't think I would trade him away, certainly. And I don't know that I would really necessarily trade for him. I do think he's a great coach. Mm-hmm. But I also don't know how to value a coach in a trade. I mean, that's, picks and cash. Picks are really, really valuable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to part with something like that if you don't already have what you feel is a ready-to-go roster. For instance, let's say it was Dow. Let's say Jerry Jones wanted to make a play for him. This is not with assuming Dak comes back healthy. Maybe you could actually get Bland and Trayvon Diggs on the field at the same time again. Micah signed. There's CD comes back from a shoulder injury next year. There's still a lot of holes on this team, and if you trade away 3 picks for a coach, then how are you supposed to fill all those holes?
Yeah.
And it's because Steven and Jerry have already shown us that despite having to pay $90 to park at the stadium, they're not going to spend any money.
They still cheap.
Yeah.
They still cheap, just like the Astros.
So I want to point out something you were talking about. If you move that bar to 4 wins.
4 wins.
The AFC has 6 teams.
Yeah.
Of their 16, 6 of them have 4 wins or less.
It's bad. And name those teams.
Jets.
Okay. Saleh fired.
Yeah. Patriots.
First-time head coach Jerome Mayo.
Raiders.
First-time head coach Antonio Pierce.
Browns.
Stefanski, who I think is a good coach, but we all know what's going on with Deshaun.
Yeah. Jaguars.
Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning head coach.
Yeah.
But
Titans.
First-time head coach. Not Canales, but first-time head coach.
Yeah.
I just think there's a clear pattern within. Like, look at the Rams. The Rams, after their bye week, they have been phenomenal because the guy at the top. Like, I just totally believe that head coaching, there's a huge gap right now in the league, and it's not about the quarterback, it's about the coaching.
To that point, I think you mentioned this earlier. I can't remember whether it was on air or off air, but Mike McCarthy at Dallas.
Yeah.
Do you really? I mean,
I think McCarthy's a good head coach.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of rallied the troops here. They haven't quit on him.
No. Which is surprising.
Very surprising.
With a bunch of egos in that locker room, they have not quit, and that's a great point. Because I thought like the moment they lost, mathematically out of the playoffs, with the Commanders winning, I'm like, oh, they're getting smacked tonight. Like there's no way the Bucs are going to. While the Bucs are fighting for a division title,
exactly.
Cowboys are coming in with nothing to play for. I thought they're going to roll over. And no, you're right. They rallied the troops.
If you had taken everything away from that game, taken the records away, and say which one of these teams is playing for a playoff berth and which one is already done for the season, you would have never guessed it the correct way.
You're totally right. And so I just think it comes down to coaching. Now I would put McCarthy in that same boat as like Stefanski. I think they're both really good coaches, but they're just not on that upper echelon. But who are you going to get if you get rid of McCarthy?
Right.
Who are you going to get? Yeah. Belichick's off the table. You know, I'm the proponent of, and we could talk about this because they looked horrible last night. I like Vrabel in Chicago.
Yeah.
I think Vrabel just feels like Chicago to me. But who else is on the market other than a Vrabel that makes sense to replace McCarthy? And I think that's what you have to look at. Now, if you can go get Ben Johnson, you go do that. But is he a leader of men?
Right.
You know, it's one thing to be an offensive coordinator, but we've seen a lot of offensive coordinators, i.e. Mike McDaniel, not figure it out to be a leader of men. And so, I'm not saying Ben Johnson's not. We just don't know. We do know what McCarthy is.
Yeah.
So, that whole fire McCarthy thing, I think it's starting to simmer down because they're playing hard, and now players are speaking up. DeMarion Overshown came out 2 days ago in support of McCarthy. Dak had that video a week ago or so supporting McCarthy. I think Micah Parsons on his podcast supporting McCarthy. I think with the players speaking out now, that's showing that they believe in him, and I don't think Jerry's going to fire McCarthy now.
Well, I had a question about trading McCarthy. So you guys answered that. You guys are fans of how he has kept that locker room together. I'll take that off the table.
I don't even think. I think it's more so for me. I know because that's what Travis was mentioning. For me, it's like you go into the season, you weren't being successful. Like, look at the roster. What hope did he really have to be successful with it? Everyone on this show was talking about who is their running back.
Right.
We had that conversation for weeks. And if we're having that conversation, how does Jerry and Steven not have that conversation and feel that need? We talked for weeks about who's the opposite CD.
Yeah.
And again, how do we have that conversation and Jerry and Steven don't have that conversation? So I just think that you set up McCarthy for failure and they failed. So it's like, okay, well, he met the mark. So it's like you just can't put the blame on him. Give him a solid roster, make him prove why he is or isn't a good coach for you right now. Not give him a bad roster and say, hey, make them great. That's not fair in the NFL.
Do y'all feel that he gets enough respect from the organization, though? Because he doesn't seem like that he's on solid ground. I don't feel like he has the backing. I'm not. I hate to compare them to the Steelers organization, but no matter what has transpired or what these Steelers are going to turn out like, we don't feel like the Steelers have any kind of inkling that they would want to get rid of Mike Tomlin.
Right.
But McCarthy, at least these last 2 or 3 years, why does it seem like he's just not on solid footing? Shouldn't he get more respect? He's won a Super Bowl.
So this is the flip side of the question, right? Is we're talking about Jerry wanting to bring McCarthy back. McCarthy's contract's about to end. He will not be under contract with the Cowboys after January 15th. I can't remember what the official date of contracts is or whatever.
Yeah.
He's a free agent. Does he want to come back?
That's a great point.
Does he want to come back?
That's a great point.
There are going to be coaching openings under owners and general managers who are much easier to work for.
Who's not Jerry Jones.
Exactly. and Mike McCarthy right now is putting down, he put down 3 back-to-back 12-win seasons, and then everyone, it doesn't take a genius to look at this roster and know that it was not a good roster.
No.
And he is putting down a resume. He has this team, probably not going to happen without CeeDee Lamb on the field, even facing a backup quarterback in Philadelphia. You're probably not going to win your last 2 games. These are 2 playoff teams that you're going to go up against.
But what if? Like, you say that, and I'm thinking, like, honestly, with Pickett, he didn't look good.
No, he didn't look good.
And with that defense.
And you're about to go tell Michael Parsons to go get after it.
I mean, why not? Why not the Cowboys beat the Eagles, right? Like,
you've already beat the Commanders.
I can see it. And you make a great point, because now McCarthy's saying, hey, league, look at me. Come get me.
Yeah.
You know, I am the prize to this thing. And that's a great point, because he doesn't have to resign.
No.
He doesn't have to.
I want to tell y'all one other reason why I think he'd leave. He may not feel good about that Dak contract.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And roster construction. I mean, when you look down, we were talking about O'Connell, we were talking about Shanahan, and knowing your quarterback and who you have. He's won a Super Bowl. He had a quarterback at his prime at that time, so he knows what that looks like. And he just may say to themselves, this ain't the guy. And now we are hamstrung by that contract. Do y'all think that that's also another part of why he may want to walk?
I mean, it could be. You know, the thing with Dak is not the fact that as a coach or as a fan like me, that you don't want Dak as your team's quarterback. It's that you don't want Dak as a $60 million quarterback.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, I have no issues with Dak being signed to a 5-year contract to be the Cowboys quarterback. I just wish it had been at $35 million a year instead of $60 million a year.
Yeah.
You know, right? I mean, I would be I would not have signed him before the season started. I would have played this season out. I would have gone to him this year with the same type of contract we were talking about for a Darnold or someone like that. $40 million a year. 4 years, 4 years, 160.
Man.
I'd have gone to him with that. And once again, if he says, no, that's not good enough, then I'll probably tell him to walk.
Man, you could have seen how that turned out. You might have been able to bring in Sam Darnold.
No, I mean, I don't know why Jerry signed. Like, once you got closer to the season, I thought he was going to just play the right route. To me, he had all of the leverage in my mind.
He did.
Because what you could have done is just not paid him, like you mentioned, Douglas, and see how Dak does. If Dak balls out for you, okay, great. That means my team is winning. And so you take me to the NFC Conference Championship, okay, great year. We'll pay you the money. Or a situation like this year happened, you're not tied to him, and you could just let him walk, or you can trade him at the trade deadline. You didn't have to pay Dak when you did.
I thought at the beginning of the season, in the offseason, I thought that's what we were all saying.
Yes,
and
we
that
were.
this is the make or break year.
We were.
So we just see what we got in Dak. I thought we see what we got in McCarthy, and then at the end of that, you find out if I'm a little saying this in jest, Travis. Then we see if we need to bring in Dion and Shador or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of the season, you would have known.
You had all the leverage.
I thought that's what we were. But then he He did pay him.
Then you paid him.
I
out of nowhere.
I told you, I appreciate Jamal because I called the CD Lamb signing. I called the Dak signing. I wouldn't have done the CD Lamb thing. Should have been done before the summer.
Yeah.
The Dak thing shouldn't have been done, but I knew 100% knew exactly how it was going to go down because Jerry and Steven are terrible at their jobs.
Travis, why are you screaming? You guys can't see him. He's off camera, but he's emphatic. If he had a gavel in his hand, it would have broken half.
All right, we got a call on the line. Hey, caller.
But, to go back to your point about paying Dak $60 million, not saying he's not a good starting quarterback. It's the fact that he's not a $60 million quarterback.
Yeah.
Colin Cowherd, he has this thing that I've taken and I've thought it's a great point. He says you don't pay if quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And what he means by that is like, if this is this way,
yes,
then he's great. Josh Allen's great.
Yeah.
There's no if.
Right.
Lamar Jackson's great. There's no if. You pay those guys. If Deebo Samuel's healthy, if Brandon Ayuk is healthy, Purdy's great. If CD's available, that can bring you to the promised land of an NFC championship, not the Super Bowl. Same thing with Jalen Hurts, I think.
I would agree.
If you have a run game, a good running back, Jalen Hurts is great. That's why I don't think Jalen's a guy that you go out and pay $60, $70 million to. There's only a few guys that are not if quarterbacks. You pay those guys $60 million.
Yeah.
I think Dak is a if quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, so then if we're talking that, I've never been a fan of Trevor Lawrence.
Oh yeah.
I went to stathead.com.
That deal was ridiculous.
Now Jacoby Brissett has played more games. I've always said Mac Jones is just as good, but I'll take Mac off the table, and I thought I'd go with someone else. Jacoby Brissett played 26 more games than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has twice the interceptions. Jacoby Brissett in 86 games only has 24 interceptions, and there are 46 in 60 games for Trevor Lawrence. When you look at other things like passing yards per game, 6.5, 6.8. I don't even need to tell you who it is, but that's the differences there. Completion percentage, 61%, 63%.
Yeah.
And he got paid.
Don't make no sense why he got paid.
And you see their record. We were talking about the AFC teams with less than 4 wins. They paid a lot of money to him.
It makes no sense. When that deal came down, it made no sense to me. Yeah. I just didn't understand. He hadn't won anything.
No.
He's just a number 1 overall draft pick, and now his contract's up. It's like, okay,
one Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they paid him, but that's why they're the Jaguars. Caller?
Yeah.
Stay on the line.
Yeah, we got to you.
Promise we're going to get to you. Yeah, we're going to get to you.
Yeah.
Stay on the line. But yeah, this past offseason was crazy. I mean, with all the quarterbacks getting signed. Baker proved to be he's not an F quarterback. I think that's a telltale sign. I feel like I didn't know going to the year that Baker is on that level of, you go pay him $40 million, $50 million. Because without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin, he's still balling. Yeah. And he has the guys in divisional
and he just looks like the leader.
Yeah.
Like guys seem like they respect him.
Yeah.
And his hustle and his moxie. So that's okay. Okay, how about this? We're at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. This will be our last show of the year. Can I offer you guys who's had the worst year in sports or the best year?
Gotta be Chicago.
Can you guys help me with that? Worst year in sports, Embiid, Giants with Barkley.
Nah, you can't put Embiid in there because he won a gold medal.
But would they have won the gold medal without him?
I don't know. He had a really good game in that gold medal game.
Okay.
He balled out.
Who do you think's had the worst year in sports?
Worst year in sports.
You got Browns. You got University of Indiana.
Browns for the playoffs.
You got the Jets.
Yeah, for what they have and how they're performing, maybe the 49ers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I realize you're playing essentially without your star running back, but
But I think that goes into the fact that it's the worst year for them because, like, what's our future look like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, not only did you have a bad year, but now it's like, dang, is the run over?
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? So, yeah, I like that 49ers pick. Worst year in sports, though? That's a great question.
All right. Best year in sports. I'll just give you guys a couple of ideas here. Sam Darnold, Saquon Barkley, the Cavs, Green Bay, a couple quarterbacks, Kansas City, Detroit.
Yeah.
Just just get the mind going
I'm
there.
thinking about Celtics.
Oh.
Finally got the hump off the monkey out their back.
Yep.
And they're out to prove it because they're angry because Tatum sat during the gold medal.
But and that's why I was like, maybe not Celtics because Jaylen Brown left off the team.
But they're balling now,
Jason
and
Tatum.
they seem like they're just
I'm
angry.
trying to like encapsulate everything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so I think you said Chiefs.
Yeah,
Chiefs is up there.
Yeah.
You said Saquon though.
Yeah.
I like Saquon. You got paid and you proved why you got paid.
Yeah, and you brought a whole NFL position back up.
Yeah.
To value.
Yeah.
Probably not working.
Caller, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, worst year in sports. This is going to be one that you guys are probably not thinking about. But Athena Moe, I believe, the one who ran the 800 for the Olympics. I think she had the worst year because she was.
I think Mo.
Yeah, that's a
Wow.
shot there.
Look at
That's
you.
a-
That's well done.
All right, gotcha.
That was good. I think yes, that was good.
That was
She
good.
should have won gold, bro.
Yeah. Look, when that happens, if you get knocked down like that and you've got that kind of pedigree, you're defending world champion, you've broken a record. I think there's got to be an exemption to get her in. What do you guys think? To get her out
From
of
a
that
track guy
semifinal?
perspective, none of that. Like you can't prevent that. And so I agree with you. Like you can't prevent someone tripping you.
But you got I got a long kick.
Exactly.
And if you
That's what I'm saying.
it's not my fault. I got a long kick.
Yeah. Your
So
stride's crazy.
what happens back behind me? I'm not in control of that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they trip me, how do you know it's not intentional? I mean, how do we, or maybe from now on we start to look at intent. Like maybe that person glanced down for a quick second and moved slightly. Maybe you track it with like that robot tracker that tracks pitches.
Right, and I just think it's just bad for the sport. When you don't have the best athletes competing. I mean, that's why for so long with the Olympics, you had a bunch of college kids out there. Like it just wasn't the same as to what it is now for America.
Yeah.
And I would throw it on, and maybe this person, whoever won the 800 meter, I don't know who won the 800 meter.
I don't remember.
But everyone will now always say, well, thing didn't run.
Uh-huh.
And so now your gold medal is kind of tainted
Yeah.
for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you probably don't think that way.
No.
But in everyone else's mind, it's like you didn't beat a thing, so.
Gentlemen, NFL games that are coming up
It's
this
not
week.
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of games that got played throughout the week.
Nothing left.
Yeah.
Is that good or
Last
bad
night
for us?
sucked,
That
bro.
that now we don't.
Did y'all watch it all last night?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I mean, that was horrible
That's set
football.
back football like 45 years.
That was bad.
Yeah.
6-3.
Yeah. Okay. When I say I watched it, no, I didn't watch the whole thing. I started, I left it, and then when I looked back and it was 24 seconds left and it was 6-3, I said, I dodged a bullet.
Yes, you did. I was at a bar watching it.
And I was playing against Roma Dunze, so I was very happy how it turned out.
And he actually caught a touchdown, and they called it back.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
okay with
That's
it.
good.
So-
You go against Rome. Wow, you got lucky.
So Saturday, we have Chargers Patriots.
Saturday. Wow. Chargers for sure.
Travis, it's in Foxborough.
That team sucks.
Yeah.
Another coaching situation: Harbaugh versus Gerard Mayo.
Yeah, it's true.
Travis, you gonna stay Chargers? You
Yeah.
going Chargers?
Yeah.
Broncos Bengals. It's in Ohio. And if Joe Burrow can get his team to the playoffs,
Are they still mathematically able?
yes, they're not eliminated yet.
Can you believe if that
7-8.
actually happens? Because no one wants to play that team.
No.
Nobody does.
What did I say about the Cowboys? They're gonna have to put up 30. I said 34 to win to beat them boys. You gotta Yeah.
Yeah. Now they can't defend nobody, but you can't defend them.
That's not his fault.
But who are they playing?
The Broncos.
Oh man.
Can Bo Nix put up 34 points?
Dang. They just won when Bo Nix played horrible too.
And it's in Ohio, so got them fans feeling good.
So,
I got Joe. I got Joe Cool.
Nah, I got Denver.
Okay.
I got McVay.
Travis?
Not McVay.
Boy.
I know, because the Broncos are
the defense is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Broncos are 4-4 and away on the year.
That's a tough decision.
Yeah, I think I would take Denver. I just don't trust Cincinnati. I just don't trust them.
Cardinals versus Rams. The Rams were dead.
Yeah, now they're
9-6
at the top. Rams for sure.
Okay. Travis?
Rams. So let's we're about to have to get out of here.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday, next Tuesday and Wednesday, we got 4 CFP games.
Bring it on, bring it on.
Which 4 advance?
Texas.
Okay.
I think it's a stomping. I don't even think it's close.
Oh.
I didn't say the same about Clemson. I thought it was going to be a one-score game, and I was right. But I think Arizona State's going to get to beat it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
So you're Boise State over
I like State? Boise. I don't like Penn State. I think Penn State are frauds.
You've been consistent.
Just like Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame are frauds. I've always said that. Those two programs, when it comes to the national stage, they always show up flat. So I like Georgia advancing.
Okay.
And the last one is Oregon.
Or Oregon, Ohio State. You got them going?
I like Oregon. I think Oregon wins it all.
Wow.
Yeah, I like Oregon a lot.
I wasn't expecting that. Travis?
Yeah, so I've been going back and forth on a couple of these. I do think Texas advances. I do think Boise advances.
Yeah.
I've got Oregon getting past Ohio State.
Yep. I don't think you trust Gunnar Stockton though.
No, yeah. I don't. And I see. I've got Notre Dame advancing.
Yeah.
And I
don't trust Gunnar either. I just trust Kirby.
Yeah. I get it. But I think the path for Georgia or Notre Dame is pretty clear.
Mm-hmm.
And so the winner of that game, I 100% expect will advance through.
Me too.
So it'll be interesting, but that's the way I got it. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We appreciate all the calls. We need to get out of here. Wrap this thing up. We'll see you back here. Are we gonna be back next? I'm out of town Friday.
Oh.
So we'll have to. We'll see who's on deck on Friday, but we'll see you back here next week on the Fans View.